Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, May the 10th. Race number 8 at beautiful Belmont Park. We're going 7 furlongs on the Widener. It's an optional claiming event for fillies and mares, and you can bet it with your new DRFBets account. Sign up at drf.com/join. Access a $150 bonus when you type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field. You can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. The 3 Frosty Ann is entered main track only. Download those free formulator past performances and handicap along with us. Matt, the number 1 Malibu Stacy comes out of a live down the hill turf race at Santa Anita, the Misdirection. Belvoir Bay, the winner of that race, came back to beat the boys in the San Simeon with a 96 buyer.
I like Malibu Stacy. I think there's some ability here in getting back to the East Coast. It'll be interesting to see what we get. The blinkers go on for George Weaver. I think she can be forwardly placed, and that's going to be very important in a race like this because the horse that you got to beat is going to be coming from well out of it. So if you can get the jump on her, and possibly with that recent form, which isn't terrible, that Misdirection, I don't want to hold that race against her, but 2 starts back, that Wishing Well, thought she ran just fine in there. I think Malibu Stacy's interesting.
Malibu Stacy, again, I think can work out a really good trip in here. She could be sent, but I think most likely she'll probably try to opt for that prime pocket position down the back stretch and hope a seam opens up at a key moment turning into the lane. Let's talk about the number 2, Boreal, who won her North American debut for Graham Motion last June on the turf. Most recently, they tried a couple of synthetic races. She ran okay in that Bessarabian last time out, a race in which one of the also-rans came back to buyer 89, winning on a return to turf at Gulfstream and a non-winners of 2 other then. It's just that her buyers stayed in the same range, 80 to 86. We didn't see much improvement last fall.
That's my big concern. As a 5-year-old now, even off this long layoff, do you think that you're going to get a forward move? Because if you don't, I don't think you're fast enough to win. Obviously, we're talking about Rubelinda, and we'll dive into her in a little bit, but Rubelinda, I think, is going to run at least a 90 something in there, and this horse has not approached that.
Frosty Ann's the main track only, the number 3, so we'll move to the number 4, Great Soul. And Timeform US has Great Soul on the lead, and that blue bar indicates that could help her out a lot, favoring horses on or near the early lead. She's out there along with the 1 Malibu Stacy. Great Soul was on the lead most recently. That was way back in October in the Maryland Million Ladies, and she had to go fast according to the Timeform US pace projector that day. It was a really good effort. She only lost by a nose, but my issue is not only the layoff, but that race does not come back very strong just yet.
No, and you have to wonder, too, coming back at 7/8 of a mile, is this nothing more than let's get a race into her and get ready for those races in the Mid-Atlantic? I know Laurel's running now, but Delaware will be opening up and then before you know it. So I wonder if this is nothing more than let's get a race into her and get her ready to stretch her back out.
The 5 Mo Nose has taken on some good company throughout her career. Horses like Linda and Grand Jeté and My Impression and Res Ipsa. Last time out, she caught a good turf course at Churchill Downs in November, and she kind of finished evenly. It looked like she was tailing off form and maybe was crying out for a break for Wesley Ward, who returns her at 7 furlongs. Do you think this is a starting off point, or do you think Wesley's found a nice distance for her?
No, I kind of, initially I thought it was probably a nice spot for her to just come back to the races, and now more and more I think about it. Wesley Ward, of all people in turf sprints, he knows a turf sprinter when he has one, and he has kept this girl at longer route distances, so I kind of feel like this is another one. Haven't seen her since November. Probably nothing more than a means to, and then get a race into her and stretch her out.
The 6 Any Day Is My Day has been overmatched in 3 out of her last 4 races, all of them in stakes competition. She's going to try turf for the first time, but when I look at this pedigree, all I see are big dirt names like Silver Bullet Day. I wonder if they're just taking a shot here.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you say, she's been overmatched in her most recent races, but also prior to that, her form wasn't spectacular either. Go 3 starts back. She never picked her feet up. I wonder if this is just hopefully we can reverse the form and get her back into a good race.
I think the 7 Amabilis can run a lot better than in her North American debut, where she had a little bit of trouble coming off of a long layoff for the great Belmont. But we saw from the pace projector that she's last early, and she may need a little bit more help. I kind of like turning back to 7, but only if there was some pace.
Agree. If you had told me that this race was going to feature a pace that projected to be in the fast 44s, low 45s, then I would look at it and say, you know what, she's interesting on the turn back, but I just don't know how much speed's going to be signed on up front. And I think that compromises her, especially since she's not the best closer in the race.
That's, I think, a very, very important point, because right next door is probably the best closer in the race and probably the race favorite, the number 8 Rubelinda. Here's a Chad Brown formulator fact. Over the past 90 days, with older horses on turf returning off a 4 to 6 month layoff, he's 7 for 12 with a $3 return on investment. This is a horse that was a multiple stakes winner last year. There was a lot of buzz because she was a daughter of Frankel, but she was also very green in a lot of her races. Chad tested her in the Grade 1 Matriarch in her final start as a 3-year-old, and she stayed on her right lead. She was very wide going into the stretch. She never made, an impact late, but I thought she did some things professionally, more professionally than in her winning efforts. If she comes back bigger and stronger, she's obviously tough.
Obviously tough. She's probably odds on in a race like this. I do wonder what the end game is for this horse, because that was her first time going 2 turns in the Matriarch. And yeah, she was okay. She never really threatened, but like you say, professionalism, she took a step forward. I wonder if they try her at a 2-turn race later on, or you just keep her at these 1-turn races, whether it's at Belmont, and there are plenty of options up at Woodbine as well, because around 1 turn she's a monster.
Intriguing alternative on the far outside is the French Invader Week Fair. And when you look at Week Fair's past performances in France, she actually was competing in a couple of claiming races. She eventually burst onto the listed stakes scene in her last couple of races, finished 5th most recently, a race in which a horse has come back to win. I'm not sure where she fits from a class perspective, but 7 furlongs seems to fit her right between the eye. I guess this horse is more for a Christophe Clement fan club, because he does well with these kind of runners.
Yeah, first time over here getting the Lasix on. He usually does well with these types. Distance shouldn't be too much of an issue. The question is, again, what do you get off of a long layoff? Haven't seen her since the middle of November.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Thursday's DRFBets race of the day. She's going to have to overcome a layoff and a slow pace, but we trust Chad Brown. And Rubelinda, the number 8, is going to be our top selection to run these down. Anyone else you're interested in using? I would just go 8-1 in here.
I agreed. 8-1. Malibu Stacy, I suppose if I was playing any multi-race wagers, she would be a backup in here, just because I think there's some ability here. The blinker's going on. But to me, I went 8-1, 9-7, and I just think Rubelinda's way the horse to beat.
We'll see if Rubelinda returns to her winning ways. Already a multiple stakes winner for Chad Brown. You can bet this race again via DRFBets, and it's $150 sign-up bonus. Go to drf.com/join. Apply for a DRFBets account by typing in the promo code TV150. Access that bonus and start punching away on the Belmont card on Thursday. Approximate post time for race number 8, 5:18 Eastern. Best of luck.